I'd like to call to order the Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting of Tuesday, September 24th, 2013. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Ms. Simon. Here. Mr. Greenspan.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Brady.
Here.
Mr. Germana.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher. Here. Mr. Schron. Mr. Schron is absent right this minute. Ms. Conwell.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
And Ms. Conley.
Here.
There is a quorum.
And we believe Mr. Schron is on his way, so we won't excuse him at this point. All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And here he is. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please mark Mr. Schron in attendance. For a silent meditation this evening, we'd like to each person to reflect on their own personal reflections. And moving on to item 5, I believe there's 2 people signed in for comment. They are not related to the agenda, but we're just going to soon have them speak now, and then we won't have to do it at the end of the meeting.
The first speaker is Mr. Wade Steen.
Mr. Who?
So quickly they forget. So quickly they forget, huh? That's right.
Thank you, Council, for this brief time to address you as your former fiscal officer. And I'm here this evening primarily to say thank you to a number of different people. First, thank you to County Executive Ed Fitzgerald for nominating me as the county's first fiscal officer 2.5 years ago, and for all of you, because you were here when I was confirmed. And I do appreciate that confirmation and the chance to serve. And also thank you to the fiscal staff. You see many of the directors. You see Director Rubino a lot, Director Lockett, but there are a number of other directors you don't see as often. You don't see Director Richter, you don't see Director Davis, you don't see Director Boffman, you don't see, I was going to say Director Parks, but now Fiscal Officer Parks, and he's going to do a fabulous job. But if the fiscal office has achieved anything in the 2.5 years, it's because of their efforts. Any recognition that came to the fiscal officer, maybe even to me, is really due to their efforts. And so I just wanted to make sure that was publicly stated. And then I also wanted to let everyone know that if I were to say that I enjoyed being the fiscal officer and being a part of this new government, that would be an understatement. Actually, I loved being a part of this government. I loved the job. But I love my wife, too, and I love my family. And those 2 things were not in the same location. And so when an opportunity was presented to me to be with my wife, I accepted, and for no other reason. But I do want to just say thank you. I'm thankful for the chance. I'll always be proud to say I was a part of Cuyahoga County's new government, because you're doing a lot of good things, a lot of great things. And 2 council members in particular that stand out. First is Councilmember Miller. And I just want to thank you for the professional and congenial way that you ran the Finance Committee. I was the Finance Chair when I was a City Council member, and I know good when I see it, and you're a good committee chairman. You know the details, the numbers inside and out. I wasn't that good. You were a great committee chairman. And Council President Conley, thank you for the professional, direct way you've always dealt with me when I was fiscal officer and the fiscal office on matters that came before you. I truly, truly do appreciate that. And I'll leave you with this thought, and this is from one of Cleveland's favorite sons, John D. Rockefeller, and he said, don't be afraid to give up the good for the great. You're doing lots of good things, moving toward great, and I would just commend you for what you've done. I know you're going to achieve greatness, and thank you so much for the chance to serve. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Steen. And I told Mr. Steen last week when they had the little reception that I talked to Mr. DeMiller the other day, and we discovered there's a couple of Swiss bank accounts that we haven't really figured out yet. So we know where you are. Okay, thank you so much for your service.
The second speaker is Reverend Pamela Pinckney Butts.
All right, Ms. Pinckney, you have 3 minutes. Okay, you have 3 minutes to say what you'd like to say.
Good evening, everyone. This is the day the Lord and Lady have made. We shall rejoice
you previously, the concerns. I'm not certain, President Conley, whether you received them or not because of your busy schedule. I submitted these to your office, and these are my 5 responses, and I still have my other 13 that I need to put together so you all will understand it from the last meeting. And for the agenda items, my concern, to summarize before I get into the individual ones, before this clock runs out, you're giving a preacher 3 minutes. That's really a miracle. Is this building that we stand in, at one point in time, it was a family restaurant. Now it's a place that produces people, and it does not produce life as it should. As a matter of fact, it's producing prison processes for people. And that's not a good thing, because it's only a matter of time before it's between you and me that we're being processed. And I am concerned with how these agenda items are doing this. For the first agenda item, the appointment of Matt Carroll, I would like to be more clear on why this person is chosen. At this point in time, we're still facing very serious violence in electoral processes. And what I mean by that is when we appoint people to these positions, we're not clear on their agenda, and people end up in a self-defense mode, and people become violent in the voting process, violent in the nominating process, and violent in the electoral processes. And when we have something such as a bill as House Bill 203, the Stand Your Ground law, we're looking at a position now where a baby will be able to get a gun. Anyone will be able to get a gun and just say that I'm afraid of you. And that doesn't just reflect the color of one's skin. Neither does it just reflect someone who has never been incarcerated, but it also reflects a person who may have been labeled with some type of diagnosis, whether it be physical, mental, or any other challenge that's different from someone else. Someone can get a gun. However, if someone also gets a gun, someone cannot get a gun who may feel like they are in danger with these laws. With these resolutions that you have stated, I'm concerned of the people that we're putting in these positions to make these decisions. And when you're revamping and you're making decisions to make the public responsible, I see two of your resolutions, you have a public fund that's going to be designated and allocated, and the county will not be benefited from it. I'm concerned about that, because we're not a borrower, we're a lender.
Well, Ms. Pinckney, I appreciate your comments, and we had an opportunity to review the comments that you gave us in writing, and we'll.
These are the new ones.
Okay, thank you. Did you give them to the staff? Who do you want me to give it to? Just give it to,
I highlighted what I was concerned about. If you need clarity, I didn't go through all of them. I have to go to another meeting.
Okay.
I'm going to the Cleveland Public School Board meeting.
Okay.
I highlighted some of them, and I do thank you for taking action on my concern on last week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everybody have a blessed week.
The minutes of the meeting, the regular meeting of September the 10th, 2013 are in your packet. If everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes, we can entertain a motion to approve them.
Move to approve the minutes.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and second by Ms. Conwell. Is there any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. I have a couple of announcements. Today, our staff sent out the upcoming 2014-15 budget schedule that Chairman Miller has been working quite diligently on for the last weeks. He sends me emails at like 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm up reading them at 6 o'clock in the morning. Please make sure that you take a look at the schedule, as the budget hearings will be taking place in the Committee of the Whole starting on October the 21st. And Mr. Miller may speak a little more at some later time in the meeting about that. Secondly, as a reminder, that council offices will be moving to our temporary location come Friday, so Monday. Have to go to a different location. Please see the emails from Trevor regarding our move, but most of us are pretty much ready for the move. We've got lots of boxes. Also, as an FYI for the general public, We will now be on the 4th floor of 323 Lakeside, which is on the southwest corner of West 3rd and Lakeside. Our phone numbers will be the same, and it's important to note, however, that our council and committee meetings will remain here in this room. And finally, on October 22nd, there will be a committee of the whole from 2 to 3 regarding the final pricing for the new administration building. Both Public Works and the Geist Company will have the final numbers for by then, and we'll be ready to present them to council and the public. We have been promised that we would receive the budget at least a week prior to that meeting so that we can have an opportunity to review this information before the meeting and be prepared for the meeting. So Bonnie, are we going to make sure that we get that a week in advance, because all of us will have to burn the midnight oil to make sure that we are familiar with it. All right. All right. That concludes my remarks. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I just wanted to mention quickly a press event that we had earlier today announcing a program that the council deserves credit for your support and encouragement of in the NAACP, and that is what we're calling the SAVE program, which stands for Strategies Against Violent Encounters. This is basically working in partnership with community groups like the NAACP. We're having 4 community meetings spaced a week apart, where we're working with local community groups, but using some of our sheriff's deputies that have expertise when it comes to self-defense strategies, both awareness-based strategies and also physical things that people can use to react to a violent encounter. And I think it's important, as we said at the press conference earlier today, the community is good at rallying support when there's been a tragic circumstance. The community likes to come together and recognize that, and that's appropriate. But we also have to rally our resources so that we don't have as many memorial services and we don't have as many occasions that we have to mark as tragic events. And it's also part of the continuing, I think, evolution of our Sheriff's Department. I want to compliment Sheriff Bova for the way that our Sheriff's Department is starting to change and becoming a little bit more outwardly focused, so that it doesn't have as singular a focus on on just being providing jail services. That's a part of its core mission, but also has a community mission. And we've been fulfilling that through our Community Impact Unit, as you know. This is another example of us engaging with the community. It's very important for law enforcement to not only be seen by the public when a tragedy strikes or where an emergency happens. That's important, but there needs to be more of a relationship that helps build trust between law enforcement and the people that they serve. We also heard at the press conference from our witness victim folks, Jill Smilek, and I just want to recognize, as I did earlier today, the just outstanding work that they do. There's over 6,000 victims of crime that they end up literally walking through the justice system, which, as everybody here knows, can be a difficult and sometimes traumatizing process for somebody that's already been traumatized by violence, and they do a superb job. So we're highlighting those services as well. So I just wanted to express my thanks to the NAACP for suggesting the programs, and for County Council for encouraging it and promoting it as well. We're doing these 4 events, and we'll see how it goes. We are not actually expending, or we didn't hire additional staff. We're using personnel that already have received this type of training that are members of our Sheriff's Department now. But if we get a good response from it, we will do more of these if there's a demand for it. We'll make sure that council staff, I just ask the council people promote these to their communities. We're doing them all over the place, 2 in Cleveland, 1 in Warrensville Heights, and 1 in Parma. But we'll make sure the council people have that. If you could share that with your constituents and let us know what your feedback is about whether or not it seems like it's a program that's worthwhile. I hope it will be. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 9, committee reports and consideration of motions of council for second reading, adoption under suspension of the rules. These items have all been to committee, and the committees have voted to pass these under suspension of the rules, so we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jimana to suspend Rule 9D. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk.
Motion number 2013-0028, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of Matt Carroll to serve on the Group Plan Commission for the term ending April 8th, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Rogers, and I assume this matter has gone to committee. Did you want to be heard, Ms. Conwell?
Yes, Madam Chair, the Group Plan Commission is a nonprofit corporation that formed to transform the mall area of downtown Cleveland. Its goal is to physically transform our public square and surrounding areas to allow the greatest use by our citizens. Each member of this Group Plan Commission will work with the representatives of our public, private, as well as our nonprofit sectors in an effort to advance the various aspects of this world-class public space, including addressing the design and architectural programs, environmental and sustainability components, as well as incorporating emerging trends in urban planning and park creation. Mr. Carroll is being appointed as a replacement for this commission due to a recent vacancy, and all commission members are appointed by the Cuyahoga County, City of Cleveland, as well as the Downtown Cleveland Alliance and the Greater Cleveland Partnership. This committee recommends Matt Carroll for consideration for this committee.
Okay, any questions, discussions? Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Carroll. All right, item 0029.
Motion number 2013-0029, a motion confirming the county executive's appointment of various individuals to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees for the term ending January 31st, 2017, and declaring the necessity that this motion become immediately effective for the individuals as printed on the agenda, items B1 through 3.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Rogers. Ms. Conwell.
Yes, Madam Chair, the Western Reserve Area on Aging Advisory Council shall be the official advisory body to the Western Reserve Area on Agency, which encompasses a 5-county area serving not only Cuyahoga County, but Geauga, Medina, Lake, and Lorain County. In this capacity, the Advisory Council shall provide a forum for older adults, consumers, elected officials, agency representatives, and others interested in the concerns of older adults. This committee recommends Ms. Carol Dayton, B.J. Brown, and Constant Hill Johnson for consideration to this committee.
Okay, any of those folks here this evening? Okay, any other questions or discussion?
Watching online, I advised them.
All right, any other questions, discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations to Ms. Dayton, B.J. Brown, and Constance Hill Johnson. All right, item 10, committee reports and considerations of ordinance of council for second reading. I understand that Mr. Jones has a substitute on this. Is that correct, Mr. Jones? And this is, there's a request to move this for October the 8th for a third reading.
Madam President, if I
Yes.
may, it is located on page 30 in your agenda packets.
Looks like we're adding another section. No? Well, it's on page 30. You got it? No,
No,
that's...
it's in your agenda packet on
It is-
page 30,
on this
and
one.
it's basically to include the language having to do with effective immediately.
It looks like just in the caption.
No, there's another clause added at the very, which section 2 basically adding
Okay.
the immediately effective clause that we usually have in.
Some of it is clerical, is that correct?
It is
Could you
in
speak to
the,
it, Majid?
in the caption.
I wasn't
it is.
aware of the change, but the previous change was for the codification. I think it looks here, all that they're doing is is basically adding the immediately effective clause, which the difference, basically what happens when you, and it has nothing to, sometimes there's confusion between the 3 readings and immediately effective. 3 readings is for the passage. If you're enacting laws, they are basically subject to a referendum, so they don't go into effect until 30 days after they're signed by the executive or the 10-day signature period passes away. So what the immediately effective clause does is it makes the law go into immediate effect when it's signed by the executive or when the time period for the signature passes away, as opposed to 30 days after that period runs out.
All right, so Mr. Jones, you making a motion to substitute?
Motion that we, the proposed amendments be added to our Resolution 48.
So that we adopt the proposed substitute as set forth in the booklet on page 30. Is that correct? That's correct. All right. I moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Mr. Jamiana. Any discussion on this? Because this will go back to committee then. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And item 0048 then will be passed for the next meeting for a third reading as
Okay.
amended.
Madam President, I still need to read it into the record.
Okay, sorry.
Because you approve the substitute on page 30, I'm going to go to that substitute and read that caption
Okay.
into the agenda. Ordinance number 2011-0048, an ordinance enacting Chapter 509 of the Cuyahoga County Code, directing the county executive to conduct a disparity study and, if required by law, validate the disparity study every 5 years thereafter, requiring annual updates of said study, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Okay, so can we all move on to 0019, and you can read that, and that will be passed also for the next meeting.
Ordinance number 2013-0019, an ordinance amending section 704.01 to 704.03 of the Cuyahoga County Code to designate that the additional DTAC fee commence on January 1, 2014 and continue through December 31, 2018, and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
All right, we'll hear that on October the 8th, and we'll move on to item 11.
Madam President?
Yes.
Just a point of clarification. On 0048, did you send that back to committee, or was that just for second
It's
reading?
got to go back to committee because it's amended, is that right?
No,
Still,
going to the October 8th council agenda for third reading.
Okay, so it doesn't need to go back to committee. We'll just be on for third reading as amended.
and we have corrected, everything was really, I considered it clerical.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Greenspan.
And that might not be,
No, I mean, yeah, the legislation was
Not-
finished in committee. All what's happening, I understand, is
We
just
completed
added
all
the
this.
immediately effective clause.
Okay.
but-
all the substantive work was completed.
Okay. All right, item 11, committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. We have a motion to suspend the rules?
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules. Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jamiana. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended. Item 0017.
Ordinance number 2013-0017, an ordinance enacting Chapter 603 of the Cuyahoga County Code to establish a Cuyahoga County Fire and Smoke Damper Inspection Program and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Do you want to be heard on this, Mr. Gallagher?
Yes, Madam President. This legislation has been nearly 2 years in the making, and the committee has had dozens of committee meetings on this topic. Legislation requires the county to have an inspection program for all fire and smoke dampers within the county-owned buildings. All testing and inspections shall be completed by certified technicians, either through the county or contractors every 4 years in accordance with national standards. If any dampers are discovered to be broken or have deficiencies, they must be replaced or repaired within 30 days. A recent event at the Justice Center proved why the legislation is much overdue. This will improve the safety of all of our employees, guests, and customers in the county-owned buildings. I've worked with the county executive on this and would like to thank him and his staff, particularly Jim Boyle and I apologize for the gray hairs he has accumulated throughout this process. Mike Dever and Nora Hurley, and most importantly, the committee for their patience and willingness to dive deep into this. We had a couple off-site visits, and they took much time out of their day to accomplish this. And I really urge all my colleagues to support me in this measure. And again, I thank the committee.
All right, any other questions or discussions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 12, consideration of resolution for first reading adoption and suspension of the rules. This is our bi-monthly operating budget, amendments to the biennial operating budget. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D and 12A.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Demand. All those in favor of suspending the rules indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Want to read it, Ms. Clerk?
Resolution number 2013-0204, a resolution amending the 2012-2013 biennial operating budget for 2013 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies. Amending Resolution Number 2013-0148, dated July 9, 2013, by rescinding Item C in Section 3 and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Mr. Miller.
Madam President, my colleagues, this is a routine resolution mostly for the appropriation of grants that we have received. Notable is that we have received a $100,000 local innovation grant from the state for further development of our geographical information system, GIS. So congratulations to the administration on bringing down that state money, and I recommend approval.
All right, any questions on any of these items? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 13, consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2013-0205, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires replacement of Aikens Road Culvert 01.12 in the city of North Royalton. Total estimated construction cost $490,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0206, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires replacement of Eastland Road Culvert 00.53 in the city of Middleburg Heights. Total estimated construction cost $420,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement. Authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Matter goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0207, a resolution approving right-of-way plans as set forth in plat number 5017 for rehabilitation of various Highland Road bridges over Euclid Creek in the city of Euclid. Authorizing the county executive through the Department of Public Works to acquire said necessary rights-of-way. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the bridges as specified in the agenda under items C1 through 4.
This matter goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0208, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27661 to Regency Construction Services Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $2,467,000 for construction of the Cuyahoga County Crime Lab. Authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Public Safety and Justice Affairs.
Resolution number 2013-0209, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27988 to Traff Tech Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1,222,800 for striping in connection with the county-wide preventative maintenance program for the period October 1, 2013 through October 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
The Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0210, a resolution authorizing a continuation agreement with County Commissioners Association of Ohio Service Corporation for participation in the natural gas purchase program for the period January 1, 2014 through December 31, 2019, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2013-0211, a resolution authorizing 2 economic development redevelopment ready loans, each in the amount not to exceed $1 million, to Parmatown Station for asbestos abatement, partial demolition, and renovations of property located at the southwest corner of Ridge and Ridgewood Roads in Parma, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said loans and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter goes to Economic Development.
Resolution number 2013-0212, a resolution authorizing an economic development, redevelopment, and modernization loan in the amount not to exceed $680,000 to Playhouse Square 1317 for renovation of property located at 1317 Euclid Avenue in Cleveland, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said loan and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Economic Development.
Resolution number 2013-0213, a resolution making awards to various municipalities in the total amount of $1,050,000 for various municipal grant projects for the 2014 Community Development Block Grant Municipal Grant Program for the period October 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the cities and in the amounts and for the projects as listed on the agenda, items I 1 through 7.
This goes to Economic Development.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor, please.
All right, please add Mr. Miller.
Madam President, you can add my name as well.
Mr. Jones.
Resolution number 2013-0214, a resolution authorizing a contract with Point Blank Solutions in the amount not to exceed $1,800,000 for consultant services for the case management and document imaging system for the period March 1, 2013 through February 28, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Public Safety and Justice Affairs. I'm sorry, yeah. Am I the right one? Okay, all right. Item 14, committee reports and consideration of a resolution for second reading, just for second reading.
Resolution number 2013-0092, a resolution authorizing a casino revenue fund loan in the amount not to exceed $3,684,650 to Playhouse Square District Development Corporation for streetscape improvements, authorizing the Deputy Chief of Staff of Development or Director of Development to execute all documents consistent with said loan and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will be moved to the October the 8th meeting. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Schwan?
That's fine. No, I was just going to mention we had full hearing at the Economic Development Committee. Pardon? The amendment comes on another one. That's this next one down here.
All right, item 15, committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of the rule. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jemian to suspend the rules. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2013-0172, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27791 to KeyBank Incorporated for various banking and treasury services for the period August 24th, 2013 through August 23rd, 2017, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all related documents, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Miller?
Yes, Madam President and my colleagues, this was heard in Finance and Budget Committee. It's a comprehensive 4-year banking contract for a wide variety of services such as depository and treasury management, wire transfer, imaging, electronic deposit, payment processing, procurement cards, and corporate credit cards. The contract will also provide account management services for the College Savings Account program at such time as that program is activated. We receive deposit credits that are expected to offset most or all of the service charges. We need passage under second reading suspension as the current contract expires on September 30th, and I recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Miller. Any questions of Mr. Miller? I know we had a lot of discussions on this in hearing. Mr. Greenspan?
Great. Thank you, Madam President. It's important to note that in this resolution, which was unlike other resolutions where we put a cap in the resolution, a not to exceed amount on the dollar threshold, we did not put that in this one. However, we did have language added, which is in the version presented, that makes the requirement that the executive shall notify council should we, in any annual period, exceed the $255,000 that is stated in the account. So a little different protocol than we've normally put in place, but it still provides us with the same level of assurance and knowledge as to the management of our cash accounts. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 0197.
Resolution number 2013-0197, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27992 to Specialized Construction Incorporated in the amount of $524,500 for crack sealing in connection with the countywide preventative maintenance program for the period October 1, 2013 through October 31, 2014. The county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
And Madam President, our Public Works Department has talked to many communities who have a focus on regionalism and simply asked, what can we do to assist them? And many of those communities have responded by saying, help us with road work. So what we have here is a contract for crack sealing. And crack sealing just simply extends the life of our pavements. And to this point, we have 10 communities who have signed on board. Others are pending based on their respective legislation in the respective municipalities. This contract, again, is for a little more than $500,000, but it's also 22% below our engineer's estimate. Municipalities can compare our bid items to their in-house contracting and find that this is a benefit. There was a 5% SBE goal. It was exceeded to the percentage of 9.6%, and I do recommend this for passage.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0198.
Resolution number 2013-0198, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 0800-123 with DDR MDT Great Northern for lease of office space located at 5069 Great Northern Shopping Center, North Olmsted, for the Auto Title Bureau Satellite Office number 5, for the period January 1, 2008 through December 31, 2012, to assign the interest to BRE DDR Great Northern, effective January 1, 2013, to extend the time period to December 31, 2013, and for additional funds in the amount of $44,587.20, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on this item?
And Madam President, this is, again, simply an extension. The current lease is up. The one thing of note is the State License Bureau has moved so that they might maintain close proximity to the auto title bureau. And again, I recommend this for passage.
Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item 0199.
Resolution number 2013-0199, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of taxable economic development revenue bonds, Series 2013A, Steel Yard Commons Project, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $5 million for the purpose of providing monies to pay costs of a project within the meaning of Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 165, authorizing the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement, authorizing the preparation, execution, and use of an official statement, approving and authorizing the execution of a cooperative agreement, a bond purchase agreement, a bond registrar agreement, and a continuing disclosure agreement, authorizing other actions related to the issuance of the bonds, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Madam President?
Yes, Mr. Schwan.
Yes, I have a proposed substitute for this that has some minor changes in the definitional section, and it has been distributed to my colleagues, and I believe it's out there for the public to look at, and I would move to substitute the...
You know, Mr. Schwan, can I cut you off? Can we move this one first, then we'll entertain your... So, Mr. Schwan.
So I'll move the original resolution.
And seconded by Mr. Miller. Okay, now, let's go with our...
Now propose the substitute to replace the original that's before us. The substitute has some minor definitional changes in regards to it. After we get that in place, I would then like to speak to the substitute resolution. So I so move.
All right, so moved by Mr. Schrein and seconded by Mr. Miller to adopt the substitute.
Excuse me,
resolution.
Madam President, it's really just an amendment.
Just an
and not a
amendment?
yes, it's just an amendment for that one tiny definition.
Okay, so the definition is under project review, and we're just changing the wording there?
No, I think it's...
Yeah, project review, right here.
Project
Yes.
Revenue.
Yep, right, great.
That's the only change out of the 19-page resolution.
Okay, now, do you want us to vote on the amendment then, right? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is so amended. So anything else on the merits then, Mr. Schrein?
Yes, I think this is a terrific resolution that I'm going to ask my colleagues to support in the form of economic development for the Steel Yard Commons. For those who look down there as you drive in and out of town, you'll see a project that there were a lot of doubting Thomases, including myself, that did not think that it would be getting the kind of utilization that it gets. And according to the statistics, that Home Depot is one of the most active Home Depots literally in the country for people going to and from the Steel Yard Commons. So my congratulations to them. They took what was formerly a brownfield, cleaned it all up. They divided it up into subsections, and that's what we're talking about here is the next phase of a subsection that'll be coming online. It will be developing a complex for the Burlington Coat Factory. Will be going on to it. I think it's a terrific project. Again, cleaning up the growth of the number of jobs that they anticipate is now going to be close to 1,500 jobs down at Steel Yard Commons. They also were one of the first folks to move forward with a no further action letter with the Ohio EPA and did not require any funding from the Clean Ohio Fund in order to pull this project off. So congratulations on multiple fronts, and it's the kind of thing that we should be celebrating the success that they've had with this project. So, and I'd ask my colleagues to support it.
All right, any questions on this item?
And Madam President, I'd like to add, I am a customer of this Steelyard Commons. I go there regularly. It truly is a gem in the city of Cleveland. To add to my chairman of economic development, there will, along with the Burlington Coat Factory, there will be a Sprint, a Villa Sneaker, and a mattress firm added as well. And along with my president, I support his recommendation for approval.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I add my name?
Please add Ms. Conwell's name. All right, any other comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2013-0200, a resolution accepting the rates as determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county fiscal officer, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
To adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Mr. Miller, did you want to be heard on this?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam President. And this is a routine resolution to specify tax rates to be levied, which is needed at this time to meet a state requirement. The resolution presents current tax rates and will be amended if the Health and Human Service levy is passed by the voters. I recommend approval.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0201.
Resolution number 2013-0201, a resolution authorizing an award to Woods Cove III as purchaser and lien servicing as servicer in the amount not to exceed $25 million for the sale of tax lien certificates, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second. Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Mr. Miller.
Madam President and my colleagues, this resolution is for a tax lien sale relating to tax delinquent parcels, similar to the successful sale that we held last year. This process helps ensure that we get the highest possible compliance with the payment of taxes due. The county receives full value upfront. The purchaser makes a profit by collecting the amount owed plus interest and penalties. The same processes that we used last time to provide fair warning to property owners and to work with community development corporations to review and revise the list prior to the sale will be in effect for this sale as well. And I ask for approval.
All right, any other questions of Mr. Miller? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0202.
Resolution number 2013-0202, a resolution making an award on requisition number 28551 to Starting Point in the amount not to exceed $593,038 for administration of various initiatives of the Universal Pre-Kindergarten Program for the Invest in Children program for the period August 1, 2013 through July 31, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did you want to be heard on this, Mr. Rogers?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. This contract is for Starting Point, and they will be working with our universal pre-K program. There are around 35 different preschool providers that Starting Point will be working with. They provide technical services, professional development. The bottom line, they're working with these agencies to ensure the highest possible quality for all the students in the Universal Pre-K program. About a little over 1,500 students will be impacted by this.
right, any questions on this? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right,
Resolution number 2013-0203, a resolution making an award on requisition number 28332 to Starting Point in the amount not to exceed $1,600,000 for out-of-school time and transition services for the period September 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award in this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rogers and seconded by Mr. Miller. Mr. Rogers?
Again, this is another contract with Starting Point. This one is for primarily after-school and summer programs for children and teenagers. Starting Point will be providing professional development for youth service workers, tutoring services. They'll be providing kindergarten readiness services, and also collecting data on the success of the program. They also provide a college access programming for for high school juniors and seniors. It's a good program.
All right, any questions or comments?
Add my name.
Conwell's name, please. Okay, if there's no other questions, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on to item 16, consideration of a resolution of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2013-0179, a resolution making an award on requisition number 24534 to Weston Incorporated in the total amount of $3,420,000 for the sale of various county buildings, authorizing leases in connection with said sale, authorizing the county executive to take all necessary actions and to execute all documents necessary to consummate the contemplated transactions, authorizing the Director of Public Works to administer the projects, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the properties as printed on the agenda, items 16A 1 through 3.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. This is the matter that we've had in the committee of the whole, and we've had extensive discussions of this matter. I don't know if there's anybody wants to have any additional comments. This is one of the most important functions of council is dealing with the sale and purchase of land, and we certainly consider these at great length. And so this is our final reading, and we're making our final decision. So does anyone have any comments or questions? It's involved the Marion Building, the Superior Title Building, and the Hamilton Garage. All right, if there's no other question, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Are there miscellaneous committee reports?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, we're going to start down here with Ms. Conwell. Directions.
The Human Resource Appointment and Equity Committee would normally be scheduled for Tuesday, October 1st, but will not be scheduled for all committee members.
Mr. Schrein?
Yes, the Economic Development Committee will be discussing the three resolutions that were brought forth tonight, and that meeting will be on the 30th at 3 o'clock.
Public Works Committee meeting will meet 8 days from today, which is October 2nd, to discuss the items referred to committee today.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Miller?
Madam President, Finance and Budget Committee will meet at its regular time on Monday, September 30th at 1 p.m., and at that meeting we will have the first hearing regarding the proposed amendment to the way that the lodging tax is calculated. And we will also meet on the following Monday, October 7th at 1 p.m., and at that meeting we will have a second hearing on the proposed amendment to the lodging tax, and we'll also hear the appropriation for the savings account program. And with Monday, October the 14th being a holiday, we We will meet on Tuesday, October 15th at 3 p.m. if needed in order to complete necessary finance and budget work prior to the start of the budget hearings, which starts a week later. Thank you.
And do we anticipate getting that budget before the hearing so that we'll have an opportunity to review that?
The anticipation is that the budget has to be submitted to the clerk about a week prior to the council meeting date, which would put the submission date on October 15th. And we have a commitment that we'll get the full budget resolution at that time and not a placeholder. And this will give the council about a week prior to when the process starts to do some advanced study. And we expect that the full budget book, which has all the departmental details, will be submitted to the council by October 22nd, which is the date of the first reading introduction.
All right. Any other miscellaneous committee reports or miscellaneous business?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Germana?
can I add my name to resolutions 206 and 211?
Okay. All right, anything further? We have our next meeting on Tuesday, October the 8th. And do we have a work session before that? Just be a regular meeting, is that right? Okay, all right. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Madam President?
Yes.
I was just going to mention, I should have mentioned this in my comments, but if, as council members are leaving, if you look in the atrium, maybe some of you already noticed it in the Justice Center, is one of these health spots that we're doing in conjunction with Metro. It's really innovative, and it's really something that we're proud of. We think it's going to make it easier for county employees that use Metro to have, it's kind of a virtual doctor's appointment station. We're the first public entity in Ohio to do this. It's kind of an emerging trend across the country, and we're kind of on the cutting edge with it. We're going to have a little, and by the way, I might as well take the opportunity to just praise Dr. Boutros from Metro, who's really been building the kind of partnership that we should have with Metro. He's been making all the right moves. This is just the latest example of something that he's doing. I'm sure you've been impressed with his leadership so far. But we're going to be here. I would invite council to join me for a little bit of a demonstration and explanation of the way the program is going to work for county employees. It's tomorrow. It's actually Wednesday morning. Yeah, it's Tuesday today. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. right out here by the Health Spot Station. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, any public comment? Anyone sign in for public comment unrelated to the agenda? Public comment,
I'm
right?
sorry, no, Madam Chair.
Okay, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, adjourn, thank you.